So how do we actually go about introducing brushing? What I find is that most patients or clients that we see have generally sort of attempted brushing before we see them, and most have failed and found it really, really difficult. And I think one of the big problems is that the expectation we have of our pets is too high. We expect them to ultimately just allow us to pop them on a table, grab a brush and start going for it. And for them, that's something that's going to be very confronting. What we tend to do is we want to basically introduce it in a slow, stepwise progression, and we want to desensitize them to each step along the way so they find it hopefully something that's calming and relaxing for them. If it is that, you're not going to struggle and have to fight them to do it, and you're more likely then to be able to implement it as part of your sort of routine at home. So Maple, we introduced that to her as a pretty young pup. That's always really helpful if you do have a young dog, to start young. It can certainly be introduced when pups are older, but it may take a little bit longer for that to occur. The first thing that I would recommend doing is don't even try and sort of grab a brush and start to sort of brush straight away. What we first need to do is make sure that our pets or our dogs are nice and comfortable with us actually handling them around the face. And as you can see here with Maple, she's really not fussed about it at all. And that's simply because we've essentially sort of slowly introduced her to having sort of, us come at her face with our hands, and she's sort of gotten to a point where she doesn't sort of, really sort of get bothered by it at all. When you're first introducing it, what I would suggest is coming from behind. So sitting sort of behind your pet and coming sort of from behind, so it's not a straight on sort of approach. That's going to be a little bit less confronting for them. Gorgeous. Yeah. Once they're sort of really desensitized to that, I would then you can then start to come with the hand from the front. And again, you want them to be not withdrawing, not sort of acting there as if that's something that's unpleasant for them, and really sort of looking like it's something that they enjoy. And for some pets, this might actually take, weeks of sitting there of an evening, and just when you're sort of having, your gentle, quiet time, just slowly introducing that. You might also find that you need to reward them and give them lots and lots of treats and encouragement. Do you like that? Maple's in the zone, so she's not even fussed. There we go. Ready? So giving them lots of rewards, pats, and making it as pleasant as an experience as possible is really, really important, and this first step that we need to take. Once your pet's really good with this, what I'd then recommend, is just sort of getting a finger and moving it around under the actual lip itself. Good girl. And you might find that giving them a little chin rub or an ear rub while you're doing that just makes it less of a confronting thing for them as well. Good girl. And again, you want to be doing that until they're sort of not really fazed by it and not sort of pulling away. And again, lots of rewards in that training phase is going to be really important. Oh, did you miss out? Good girl, Hazy. So Hazy, again, you can see she's pretty relaxed about it all. And again, I can sort of move my fingers around, lift her lips up. Once you reach that step, then you can sort of start to look at introducing the brushes themselves. I would always recommend using a dog toothpaste. We don't have any major preferences over the type of paste. It is important, however, to make sure that we're not using human toothpaste. The reason for that is that the fluoride content can be high enough that if these guys ingest it, it can be toxic. And they tend to not really like products that foam, and also the minty flavors that we tend to choose. So any dog or cat toothpaste is fine. The majority of the cleaning action is going to be done by the brush itself.